Hey, welcome back. It's been forever, but my goodness gracious me, it's match day here at the Redmen TV. Ste and Errol with a team news reaction show reacting to the Liverpool 11 that will be officially announced in about 30 minutes time. Before we get to anything, guys, first up, want to show you this.
This is heavy.
Look at that for a prize. Joe, can you come on that one for us? Look at that for a prize. That is a shirt signed by... That is the wrong shirt. That is the shirt signed by... It's the Ibu Kanate shirt. That's exactly what it was. We've got a shirt signed by Ibu Kanate, Liverpool home shirt. If you want to get your hands on that, guys, very, very simple. Press subscribe on here now, and we've got you absolutely covered. Once we hit the amazing landmark of 500,000 subs, we will give away that fantastic signed Ibu Kanate shirt. So if you're watching this now and you're not subscribed, then do us a favour, get yourselves subscribed, just click the button below, and yeah, win this signed shirt by Liverpool defender Ibu Kanate. Right then, you guys who are joining us on Twitter, click the link in the show now and come and join us on YouTube, because me and Errol are going to have a big old chinwag about the Reds. Mate, I feel it's been forever.
And I feel like if this desk wasn't so big, I'd give you a hug. It feels like it's been that long. It's been that long since I've actually seen you. But yeah, it's been a weird couple of weeks, obviously, with all the reasons as to why the football was cancelled, and then the break that we had, obviously, and now we're in October. It feels like the year's just kind of running away with itself, and before you know it, this is the busiest period now before the World Cup, so we have to really capitalise and get some form. I almost feel it's going to be a bit of a shame for us, because I imagine Liverpool will deal with October relatively well. We'll come out the other end of it a lot stronger than we came into October, and then the World Cup will be in front of us before we know it, and it's kind of like, all that momentum's gained, and now we've got to have another break. So unfortunately, that is what I can see happening, but right now we've just got to focus on getting 3 points on the board from today.
I say, between now and the 29th of October, Liverpool play 9 games. It's 12 games, I think, now, before mid-November. Before when the
World Cup
break is. So Liverpool break off the World Cup. Right. Essentially, the last game is November 12th. And between now and then, they'll have played 12 games. It's absolutely crazy, the schedule. And there's some really tough games on the schedule. You know,
City,
Arsenal, City. There's Champions League, obviously 3 Champions League games in October. Another one against Napoli, the very start of November. It's like, you're right to reference. Well, Liverpool of old would just see this as a chance to just go bang, 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 win. And before you know it, you climb up the table, or you're making a gap or whatever. And looking at things, that's what the history suggests could happen.
Yeah.
We just haven't seen from this Liverpool team this season yet. They haven't been good enough to prove that they can just go bang, 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 bang. You know, they rarely
don't
win consecutive games. Haven't done. They just can't. They haven't been able to do it. Really, it's been tough sledding. You know,
you haven't had enough home games, mate. That's what the problem is.
And even one of those home games that we've done these watch ons now, we beat Ajax and beat Newcastle.
Yeah.
They were both late. I mean, like as late as you can get.
Yeah.
Bournemouth was the only one where they absolutely annihilated them. So that's the thing, is that I'm with you. Liverpool need to go on a run, because things can get away from them very, very quickly. They just need to prove now they're good enough to do it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, mate. And I think when there's that many games right now, hopefully the one good thing is it'll be good for our rhythm, in terms of there's no chance to kind of break it. There's games every other couple of days. I think when we worked it out, it was like we're going to play a game one every 3.5 days between now and the end of the month. So in terms of that rhythm thing, the massive thing for us at the moment is we've got players coming back in terms of fitness, and then hopefully being able to keep those players that we've got available to us fit for the entire month, with no real big blows right up until the World Cup. But I think that'll probably be playing on a number of players' minds anyway, with obviously World Cup selection squads all going to be happening towards the back end of the month. So they'll want to make sure that they're as fit and as available as possible, and try and get some form before the World Cup. So it is a very big month ahead, and we're not the only team in this slog. Any of the other teams in the top 6 having ambitions to go on and challenge for titles or Europe this season are going to be playing pretty much the same amount of games as us. So they're in it as well. So it's not like we're an isolated incident in that respect. But Liverpool, again, has been stop, start. We haven't had that flurry of consistency and back-to-back wins up until now. This presents us with a massive opportunity, and one that we can't overlook at this stage, as far as I'm concerned.
I suppose, mate, as well. I completely agree. What we should say is, obviously, this game comes on the back of a big break. Brighton have had an even longer break, because they haven't played since October 4th. We had the Ajax game. Obviously, they didn't have Champions League. Their game at the weekend obviously got cancelled, like ours did, because when they were meant to be playing Palace. I suppose, mate, is that international football, it can work one or two ways, really. It's like, are they in rhythm or are they not? Yeah, it's probably actually served Liverpool well that a few players have been away, because the break, it would have been a massive break, you know what I mean? Like, whereas Brighton...
As much as a mental break as well for them.
Brighton, on the other hand, very few of those players played international footy. They've obviously got a new manager in place now as well. Like, it's a weird one here. You're playing an opponent who's relatively... they're almost coming off the biggest break you'll ever get. A month's break now is that's huge.
It's almost like pre-season all over again.
It'll be interesting to see again. It's hard for us to know really what we're going to get from the opposition, because, like I say, if it was Graham Potter's Brighton rocking up, we just know, because they are what they are and they play how they play, and they've caused us issues before. I think that's fair to say. Under the new manager, with a massive break-up on them, we just don't really know what opponent we're going to get. And we spoke off there before, like, this is no easy game. This is one where there's bound to be nerves, because an opponent who essentially last year, that draw against these kind of almost cost us the league in a way. If Liverpool had won
in a
that
roundabout
game,
way,
you know, and like, they've done well against before. The new manager bounce thing, coming off the international break, they're all things that make us nervous.
We're entering the unknown right now.
But we always say, don't we, me and you, we always say like things like, Liverpool off a break, not great. Liverpool new manager bounce, not great. An opponent who's done well against us and likes to play footy, not great. It's all in one. Ultimately, it shouldn't matter, because Liverpool should have too much of Brighton, but there are the telltale signs are there for, like, if you're not at it, you might get sucker punched here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can see that's what I want to avoid. I want to avoid those kind of mitigating circumstances where we're looking at it and being like, oh, actually, by the way, it was the new manager bounce for them, or they had a longer break than us. I want to park all of those thoughts and the excuses essentially and say, no, today there's no excuses. We've had that time off to get ourselves right in the right headspace to know when we come back, Brighton is the start of the mountain that we've got to climb. But if we're trying to get to the top of the mountain by the end of October, we only get off on a good start if we beat Brighton. If we don't, we're back to base camp, and we're back out of ideas all over again, and there's more questions being asked than what we're actually being able to answer at any given time. We need to start being confident that we're going to answer these questions. Like you just said then, all those 3-4 things you just listed, it'd be great in one big hit for Liverpool to just be able to answer all of them. New manager bounce, not asked. Fucking international break, not asked. Like, we're just going to go out and do whatever it is that we're going to do. And, you know, a team that we drew against in the past, not asked. Like, we need to just focus on what it is that we're going to do, having too much quality for them, and actually being really... The one thing I want to see from us today is being clinical and having that control of the game. Controlling the tempo and dictating how the game's played, so we're not chasing it at any point, and us being clinical in those killer areas where we're getting chances. And we sat there before and we're like, that was half time, and we look back and think we probably could have done a little bit better there. Yeah, we might have scored one before half time, but there was 2-3 other big chances there that we just kind of squandered. No, let's find that ruthless streak that I think we've lacked at times this season. And when we haven't got the ruthless streak and you've not got the control over the game, that's how games get away from you very quick.
Yeah, Liverpool needs to be careful with that. Shout out to John Lee, David Blackshaw, one of our YouTube members, sends a message into us here, says, welcome back, Ste and Errol. Cannot wait for this match. I'm sure this will be 3 points and a big score, unless we do well against these guys. We usually do well against these guys. Let's push on and put on a winning streak. You know, walk along. Thanks very much indeed, David. Yeah, Liverpool's team will be announced in about 4 minutes time. Now, I've been sent what I think is a rumour team. Don't bring this up on the screen, Joe. I can't give the source away for this one. But Alisson, Trent, Matip, Virgil, Costas, Hendo, Fab, Thiago, Bobby up front, Mo Salah and Carvalho as the front three is what I'm hearing Liverpool's team is. It looks like Jürgen has not picked many of the lads who played or travelled. So I'm hearing Diaz is on the bench, Nunes is on the bench as well. So a front three potentially of Salah, Firmino and Carvalho is interesting, really. Hendo back in straight away so Harvey Elliott, who's been playing a lot of games, on the bench as well. There's a couple of changes there from Jürgen that maybe a few eyebrows raised, especially maybe Fabio Carvalho, if that is confirmed in a couple of minutes' time in the front three.
I don't mind that though, if I'm being completely honest with you, mate. I want a little bit more of a mature performance from us. I want a bit of a vintage performance, especially in that midfield engine room. We've looked a little bit naive at times, especially down that right hand side. I know we can kind of highlight it time and time again. Bobby up front, these are the games where he's either absolutely clutch for us because, you know, the defenders just can't pick him up and defenders just don't know where his movement's going to be, and he just pulls off an absolute worldie in terms of his work rate and then being able to bring other people into play, or these are the games where he's completely anonymous. There's no kind of middle of the road for Bobby at the moment for me. It's one or the other. It's complete opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm hoping for a stellar Bobby Firmino performance. But yeah, that midfield for me today with that level of, mature heads, older heads in there, when I said before, that control, that's the midfield that I had in mind. If I'm going to control a game, that's the midfield that we've got right now. That's the most likely to be able to do so. Tsimikas as well, yeah.
We know Robbo was out.
Yeah, we know he's out with an injury, so that's a bit of a no-brainer and a bit of a given. Diaz probably the only real surprise for me in that sense. But again, we've got...
It's an international... That's a flying back thing as well. Like, they haven't trained as much.
And obviously we've got the big... not international Champions League game midweek as well, so that'll come.
There's going to have to be rotation. What it will mean if that team's right, and we'll confirm that shortly, is looking at your bench. If you've got Diaz and you've got Nunes and you've got Harvey Elliott as well, you're looking at your bench thinking, well, at least there's more options. There's a couple of really attacking options there. And Diogo Jota, of course, didn't even mention him. So Liverpool could have serious firepower on the bench if that's what they go with. It feels to me like there's a couple of lads there who didn't go away as well. Thiago didn't go away. Bobby and Fab went, but hardly kicked the ball. Yeah. Mo Salah came home early because Egypt did us a solid.
Yeah. About time too.
Yeah. Trent, obviously, we know, didn't hardly kick a ball. So yeah, it's interesting really that maybe he has just gone with a couple more of the lads who we knew were about. But yeah, I suppose really, I'm guessing that means Carvalho playing left wing, which is again interesting. He hasn't really done that too often.
No, he's been in like the left side of the
or a central player. So be interesting to see how he can do out there. And like I say, you're right on Firmino. You can see it well where Bobby, Carvalho and Salah link up, but we haven't really seen it in action per se. It might, again, I'm guessing a lot of it. I'm sure Jürgen will announce it. Is to do with the international break.
I think we've been unlucky with the front three this season. I know there's been a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism over maybe individuals, but I think as a unit, I think that's what, the red arrows always swings to mind, the way that we were so cohesive and been able to work as a team, and that front three was really, one of the best front threes in Europe for a very long time because of what he was able to do as a unit and as a team, or like a little mini team between them. And I think at the moment we've got some star-studded players and some real quality, but we've not been able to put a forward line consecutively back to back with each other where you're like, that's the one that I want to see play 10 games on the bounce for us this season if everyone's fit and there's no suspensions. And I think until we kind of get to that point, we probably don't know what our best look from three is going to be this season. So then we've had to drop back into the likes of trusting Bobby Firmino to actually bring us a little bit of quality, and we've had to drag Jota into games when he might not have been 100% fit, and Diaz has had to play more games than he might have actually wanted to. Klopp might have wanted him to play early part of this season. So there's been a lot of chopping and changing around there, and I think we've kind of have to have a little bit more of a understanding that it's going to take us time to assimilate that level of front three again, where we know everybody on their day is absolutely lethal. Right now, we're kind of hoping that at least one of the three of them steps up, and more often than not, we're always relying on that man to be Mo Salah.
Yeah, absolutely. It is confirmed in that Liverpool team. I'm going to go make my way over to the board now.
I'll read it out. So it is Alisson starting in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Carvalho, Salah and Bobby Firmino there in 9. So Steve was absolutely spot on. The plug came good again. Steve absolutely smashed it.
Got my bench for me.
And the bench, yes, we're looking at Adrian, Gomez, Milner, Elliott, Jota, Nunes, Arthur and Phillips to make up Liverpool's bench this afternoon.
So no Ibu yet?
No Ibu, no.
To be fair, shout out to Chris Pajak. He got 10 right. He had Diaz in for Carvalho, but he had it pretty much spot on yet. So Liverpool's 11 for the game. We've got Alisson in goal. We've got Costas, Virgil, Joel and Trent as a back four, with Fabinho in front of them, of course. Tsimikas in. Andy Robbo still recovering from his knee issue. Fabinho, DM like I mentioned there. We've got Thiago, the main man, is in. No shocks on that left-hand side. Jordan Henderson comes in on the right-hand side. Harvey Elliott makes his way to the bench. He's played a lot of footy this season as well, and he was on under-21s duty. Hendo hardly kicked the ball for England, so maybe that's played a factor in there. Let's get Mo Salah and Fabio Carvalho on the left-hand side, with Roberto Firmino up front. And I am going to read this bench out again, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Errol. I've got Adrian, Nunes, Milner, Jota, Gomez and Diaz, Arthur, Elliott and Nat Phillips. So it looks like we're all spot on here. So yeah, again, we mentioned before, strength in the bench. Look at this. If you're looking for goals from your bench, there's Núñez, there's Jota, there's Diaz as well. You've got Harvey Elliott. We don't really know too much about Arthur in terms of what he could offer in an attacking sense, but that tends to be his game. In terms of defensively, or you want to shore things up, or whatever you need, there's James Milner, there's Joe Gomez, and of course Nat Phillips is there as well as another centre-half option if needed. So yeah, things are looking stronger. If you think about it, still missing Big Ibu back in training, not quite ready for this one, fair enough. Calvin Ramsey back in training, not quite ready for this one. Curtis Jones still on the sidelines, Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain. But what it does show, obviously Andy Robbo we know is ruled out as well. We're getting there. When everyone's back fit and firing, there's not even going to be a place on the bench for some really good players, which will, again, a nice headache for Jurgen to have, and we're not there yet. Kevin Kelleher's another one who's close but not quite ready. But yeah, I suppose, Errol, the main talking point to this one, mate, is going to be, I'm guessing, the introduction on the left-hand side of Fabio Carvalho. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm quite excited to see what he is able to offer us, to be honest with you, because that was another question that we had in the summer. Where was he going to get the majority of his game time? Was it going to be that left-hand side of the 8, or was it going to be as a left forward for us? And the fact that Klopp sees enough of him to throw him into this game, he's obviously overlooked the likes of Jota, Elliott maybe, and moving things around ever so slightly. Núñez, I know the travel thing was always going to be kind of brought into play in that respect, but a couple of people in the chat are saying, Simvo says, a shame about Núñez, but very excited to see Carvalho starting in the front line now. Mig says it's bold by Klopp. Sam Probert says, nice lineup, hope to see a strong cameo from Núñez. Darkfield, and he says, some people think these guys are machines and they cry when people pick up muscle strains. Yeah, interesting. And then we've got Kaja Dian, sorry if I butchered your name, mate. He's been a member for 26 months. Says, big up the Redmen, the best fan channel ever. Absolutely, you never walk alone. And speaking of being the best fan channel ever, what is the next milestone for the Redmen, Steve?
We are closing in on a big milestone. 500,000 YouTube subscribers. It'd be cool
Jeez.
if we can get there very, very soon. We've actually got some pretty good plans in place for when we get there as well. So if you want to see those plans, and of course if you want to win the Ibu Konate shirt, or at least a chance to win it, subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. You're on YouTube watching this. It'll take you all of 5 seconds to scroll down and press that button. Doesn't cost you a penny, of course. The second we get to 500,000 subs, we'll do a draw for the Ibu shirt, and yet we can release some of our amazing content ideas. Got a few things on the pipeline, a few collaborations with other YouTubers, etc. as well. So yeah, get us to 500,000. Paul and Chris have been working their nuts off on this since 2010. The team has only gone and grown since then, including the introduction of myself and Errol over the last couple of years. Come and get us to the 500,000. We can have a big old party as well, and it really does help us out if you can do that. And like I say, for all the support you guys give us, we're going to give one of you the chance to win that Ibu Konate shirt. Chloe's fuming. She went down.
I actually had a crush. There was a big crush going on there. There was a big loving for Ibu on the day. There was. And I was a bit pissed off that, like, I called you out in the group chat, didn't I? Because you was cheating on me.
You said, yeah. You said, why are you standing next to another black guy? Yeah.
I did. I'm not even gonna lie. I was very jealous.
I was thinking of you the whole time.
I'm sure you was.
We sent Chloe down and do us a favour. Go and get. I went get the shirt. Went go and get that sign. She ran down, got a sign. Went thanks. We'll give that away. She was like, she thought it was genuine. she thought she might have been getting it. So yeah, do get involved. I'm sure. As soon as you get to the 500,000 plans, like say 500,000 subs, rather, we'll give that shirt away to one of you wonderful people.
Absolutely.
In terms of the lineup as a whole, and we'll bring you Brighton's lineup in a moment. I suppose really, I think that might be the midfield Jurgen really wanted from half time. And I understand the introduction of Elliott, and maybe I'm wrong, and I've said before, like, Harvey's was in the team last year before he got injured. I'm guessing Jurgen was always planning to use him. I don't think he wants to use him in every single game like he's had to.
I've said that.
I think he wants to dip him in and out. There's been a lot of talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold and what happens on that right-hand side. Recently, obviously, Jurgen spoke about Gareth Southgate. Everyone's weighed in on this thing. One thing it should do is Henderson being there. He won't offer the same attacking outlet that Harvey Elliott will, because of course he won't. But what he might do, he should, in theory, be the man who covers for Trent a little bit more and shores that side of the pitch up a little bit.
That's what I said to you about that maturity and not being that naive on that right-hand side. I think between the 3 players that we had seen play the most minutes on that right-hand side for us, there was just an air of naivety. Now, we absolve Salah of that responsibility automatically because he is the forward of those 3. But between Trent and Harvey, there has to be a level of communication, or has to be a level of understanding where if Trent and, like, you know, as Klopp said, you know, he's going to be the trigger for a press on that right-hand side, or whatever the requirement is high up the pitch for them to be, then someone on that, you know, whether it's Fabinho covering in the 6, or whether that is the right-hand side, or it is Matip, Konate, whoever that is, they need to have that understanding that someone needs to cover his space, and sometimes that communication and that expectation wasn't being met, and it was glaring for everyone to see, because teams are always going to look to expose that side for whatever reason. If teams see it as that's a frailty from Trent, or if teams see it as that's actually the tactics and the tactical instruction from Klopp, that's the area that we have to expose. So let's actually try and get those balls over. And as Klopp said in his press yesterday, you know, 7, 8 out of 10 sound was sorted. It's that one, and in those one instances, it's having that little bit of maturity to be able to sniff danger and sense it, and understand that someone needs to fill in that space, and someone needs to just cut out as much free space as there is. We need to just half it a little bit, give us a chance of being able to defend that area a little bit better. And I think Jordan Henderson, for, you know, all the other assets that he does have anyway, for as not only as a captain but as a player for us, I think he's got that understanding with Trent down to a fine art, and I think we do look a little bit more defensively stable and have that stability when he does sit in that position
and
for us.
And I suppose having Thiago on the left hand side means that your creativity comes from there.
Yeah,
you know, that's what they'll look to. It won't be going through Harvey Elliott. It'll all be going through Thiago on the left hand side, so you can afford to be a little bit more defensive. And like I say, in terms of midfield, on the right, Trent will always be in attacking positions. There's Zerbi's first Brighton team that he's able to select, and we've got it here for you. Liverpool's opponents for today. Sanchez in goal. They've got Webster, Dunk, March, McAllister, Trossard, Gross, Welbeck, Casido, Estupinan, let's go with that, and Veltman, with a bench of Steele, Lamptey, Colwell, Lallana, Sarmiento, and Xiso, don't even know what that is, Undav, Mitoma, and Billy Gilmore as well. So that is the
who's their manager now?
11. It's the Zerbi, that's his name.
Oh, is it? Excuse me.
Swulo. I'm probably butchering plenty of pronunciations here, but yeah, again, similar mould really. He obviously won't be the exact same, but they've gone for a front foot manager who's used to taking, what, with all due respect to Brighton, a team and make them punch above their weight. That's what he's done. That's what he did in Serie A, and he's been able to do it again. It'll be interesting to see what type of shape they go with. Go on.
Am I right in saying that they're the best defensive team of the league so far this season?
They've been really good, Brighton, and like I say, I'm just looking on Google here because I was looking at that 11 and wonder they think it's back 3 with Webster, Duncan, Veltman, with maybe Solly Marsh doing a job over on the right hand side. We'll find out later. What they have got though, they've scored goals this season. Brighton, again, I understand different manager, but they've done well. Trossard's had a really good season. McAllister's probably been the best player as well. We saw Caicedo linked with Liverpool's had a really good start. They're a team again. I know they've been under. So they've changed their manager, and we'll see how that gets them. But like you say, scored 11 goals, only conceded 5. Nobody in the league has conceded fewer goals than Brighton, and they've been more than capable of scoring as well. They've won 3 of the last 4 as well in the league. They're one of the league's form sides. I understand, like I say, the manager's changed, but they're coming to Liverpool at the moment, confident. 4 places above us in the league, and thinking, yeah, we can get something from them. And rightly so, they should be, because, again, the start they've had and the form those players are in, they should have belief.
And that was, you know, I think one of the things that, you know, people have mentioned from the summer transfer, you know, they lost a couple of players that people would have considered to be, you know, their better players in their squad.
Obviously Neil Mopey left as well. Dan Burn left just before. Cucurella left.
So there was a number of players that left, but they came in and replaced them kind of seamlessly. Really, it was almost similar to like the Ajax when we had to play them at Anfield the other month. You know, they had lost a number of their big players, but had replaced them with.
Which shows how good the manager. I think Graham Potter is a great manager. I don't know how he'll do at Chelsea, because Chelsea's an absolute shambles. Sometimes it's mad Chelsea. They exist in chaos, but I think he proved he was a good manager.
Thrive in chaos sometimes. Chelsea
What I say is that I always think with this, like, a manager is good if you take someone out, take some players off him, and then give him other ones. Can they be the same? And
like,
to be fair,
you're watching it with Brendan Rodgers now.
They're struggling because they've lost 1 or 2. Whereas Brighton haven't, and they're going to come to Anfield today. I'm going to, like say, new manager. We'll see how it all pans out, but they're going to be on the front foot. It's going to be a difficult game. So yeah, we're going to start rounding up. Sure, you got a couple of comments on the Club Legend Discord chat. So yeah, all you wonderful Redmen Club Legends, get in the Discord, stay throughout the game. We'll read your comments. If you want to be invited to the Discord chat, very, very simple. redmenplus.com. Sign up as a Club Legend. Not only do you get access to all the wonderful content and all that kind of stuff as well, get access to the Discord chat, entries into competitions, loads and loads of benefits for being a Club Legend. One again to the Discord. Richard G. I was hoping to see Nunes, but oh well. And like Scott says, he'll probably come off the bench anyway. And like a lot of them, he arrived very late. And I think that is the key, is that Liverpool have at least got the options in terms of fitness, Errol, to be able to say, right, you only just got back. We think you're 60%, 70%.
Yeah,
we've got an options to go to people who haven't kicked the ball. We'll give them the goal. We'll give them the go. And if it's going well, sound brilliant. If it's going wrong, we can look to the bench and go, right, unleash 5 of those lads on and hope to turn around. I can see Jürgen's thinking.
Yeah, 100%. And at the end of the day, you're looking at that squad, and aside from Carvalho, potentially, that's still, and maybe Bobby, that's still one of our strongest lineups that we can put out.
I think if it was
given the chances so far, he's performed well. I think that's the preferred midfield that would start in any of the big games for us, where there's high stakes. I'm thinking of the Chelseas, the Cities, potentially Arsenal, because they're the top of the tree at the moment. That's probably the best. Again, on form, that's the best back four that we've got, certainly for me, on form anyway. So yeah, that team, that 11 should be enough to dispatch Brighton today, but we have got the added extra incentive of being able to turn around and look at the bench and say, actually, these lads don't need to run themselves into the ground if it's not going their way. We can actually manage the squad and rotate a little bit, because we've got a lot of games to play, as we've already mentioned, in October.
Yeah, absolutely right. Then we'll start wrapping up there. Before we go, little score prediction. Now you've seen both teams, mate.
3-1 Liverpool.
Woo! Okay, I think 2-1. I think it's going to be a tight game, to be honest with you, again.
I don't want a tight game, mate. I don't want
no, I don't know, but I think I just got the sense, like, it's got all the hallmarks of one of those.
Yeah.
Off the back of the break, new manager, good team. Like, there's a lot going on. I hope I'm wrong. Like, we just snot them 8-0. But yeah, listen, any win is a win at the moment in time. Obviously, at time recording, Arsenal are going to be, extend that lead at the top of the table. Liverpool got some work to do. What it does mean is that the ability to catch Tottenham up, you're getting closer and closer to them, because as it stands, Liverpool can, with a win, go to within 5 points of them in third place with the game in hand as well. So lots and lots to play for around the league as well. Liverpool just need to do their job, and whatever else pans out. The league table is going to look a bit funny for a while now because of these games. Liverpool are going to have that game in hand over Chelsea against Chelsea for a long time. So we're going to be in these boats where it isn't quite a true reflection. Just win today, get on the coattails, see where we're at, and we'll go from there. Right then, if you haven't ever watched the Redmen Redmen TV watch along before, me and Elle will be back in about 30 minutes now.
Half an hour.
We had about half an hour's time to commentate through the entire game. So whatever you're watching in the world, if you're watching, obviously loads of you guys in the UK won't be able to watch the game. We can commentate on it for you. Everyone else around the world, you can sync your TV pictures up with us. We'll commentate through it, 100% biased, rather than listen to those commentators. Come and listen to me and Errol being, like say, Liverpool fans commentating on Liverpool games. So yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel now. Press the little alert bell. When we go live, you'll get a notification. Come and join us for the entire watch along. It's Liverpool versus Brighton at 3 p.m. or 45 minutes or so's time. Come and join us for that. Until then, I'll catch you all in a bit. Take care.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to continue the conversation, then head over to Redmen Plus, join as a club legend and get access to our Discord chat. It's got us in, and it's got loads of amazing like-minded Reds. There's a no knob policy in there, so where you won't have that on social media, you will have it over on the Redmen Plus Discord. It's full of sound people. Come and join us.